So it's sound check 1, 2. Charles?
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
And Darren?
I probably won't sing for this sound check, if that's okay.
It's okay.
Aloha! My name is Darren Lerner, and I am the director of the University of Hawaii Sea Grant College Program. The Hanauma Bay Education Program, HBEP, is based at Hanauma Bay Nature Preserve in Honolulu, Hawaii. HBEP is an education program whose mission is to enhance appreciation and promote understanding and stewardship of Hawaii's marine environment through public education. HBEP is administered by the University of Hawaii Sea Grant College Program and is supported by the City and County of Honolulu Department of Parks and Recreation. HBEP Podcast Number 10, Hawaii Sea Grant, Research, Education, and Extension.
Aloha, and welcome to our educational podcast. My name is Mahalo.
And I'm Charles.
And I'm Darren.
And we are part of the education team here at the Hanauma Bay Nature Preserve located in Honolulu, Hawaii. Throughout our educational podcast, listen for our trivia questions, scientific words, and other sound bites and music. We have a very special guest for this podcast.
Oh, you're so sweet, Mahilani, but there's no need for the special treatment. I am your co-host after all, so...
Charles?
Oh my gosh, Dr. Lerner, I didn't even know you were here.
Well, it certainly is nice to be here at the Bay.
I'm sure you're kept locked away in some office somewhere on campus.
Well, I do my best.
In addition to being the director of Hawaii Sea Grant, you also are a research affiliate at the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology.
That's right.
The Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology is home to several research laboratories that study corals, whales, and sharks.
Oh my!
It's located on a tiny island in the middle of Kaneohe Bay on the windward side of Oahu. This island is also known as Coconut Island and Moku'olo'e.
There was also a very famous TV show that featured the profile of the island.
You know what that means, Charles?
It's trivia time! As Darren said, the profile of Coconut Island, which is home to the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology, was featured in a famous TV show. What is the name of this TV show? Think about your answer. And for this trivia question, remember, Coconut Island is also called Moku'olo'e. We will answer this trivia question at the end of this podcast. Good luck! Periodically, the education program receives questions about marine life. We address these questions in our advice column called Dear Darren. Hey, that's you.
Well, isn't that convenient?
Oh, it is. Dear Darren, I have a question about fish. This may sound like a silly question, but I've always thought about this. Why can't a freshwater fish live in salt water? Since Darren is here, let's ask him. How would you answer this question, Darren?
Well, this is a great question. Fish must maintain the amount of chemical particles in the blood very precisely. For example, salt. This measurement is referred to as osmolality and is measured in milliosmoles, very small particles. And the internal environment of a fish is approximately 300 milliosmoles. Seawater is 1,000 milliosmoles, and fish that live in seawater have active mechanisms in their gills for removing excess salt. Freshwater fish do not have this mechanism. There are fish like salmon and tilapia and others that can live in both freshwater and seawater.
That's cool.
So that's why they're so tasty.
Exactly.
Since 1990, HBEP has been administered by the University of Hawaii Sea Grant College Program. And here to talk more about Sea Grant in Hawaii is Darren Lerner, the director of Hawaii Sea Grant. Aloha, Darren.
Aloha, Mahilani, and aloha, Charles.
Aloha, Darren. How long has Sea Grant been in Hawaii?
Hawaii Sea Grant was founded in 1968.
So tell us, what does Hawaii Sea Grant do?
Hawaii Sea Grant is dedicated to improving understanding about the wise use of coastal and marine resources. We do this through research, education, communication, and extension. Extension is a term we use to describe extending knowledge from research to the public.
Oh, so like an extension cord.
Somewhat, Charles. I guess you can say it's like an extension cord. The most important difference is that unlike an extension cord, which delivers electricity from your wall to a device, extension not only delivers research information to better inform the public, but it also delivers an understanding of public needs to better inform what we do in research.
So what is Hawai'i Sea Grant primarily focused on?
Well, we have 5 main focus areas. They include sustainable coastal development, hazard resilience in coastal communities, sustainable coastal tourism, indigenous cultural heritage, and water resource sustainability. We also have 5 centers of excellence that reflect these focus areas. These centers are smart building and community design, sustainable coastal tourism, marine science education, and 2 brand new centers, the Institute for Hawaiian Language Research and Training, and the Center for Coastal and Climate Science and Resilience.
Wow, that's really cool. So in your opinion, what is the most important thing Sea Grant does for Hawaii's community?
Well, this goes back to our definition of extension. We bring science to people and people to science.
Mahalo, Darren, for joining us for this podcast.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
Be a part of our pod. Cast. Send a shout out to your friends and family back home. Birthday wishes, holiday greetings, and even a thank you. Send it to us at hbanews@hawaii.edu. Our shout out today is from the Hawaii School for the Deaf and the Blind. Dear Hanauma Bay Education Program, thank you for being a part of our Hawaii School for the Deaf and the Blind Winter Festival. We hope to see you next year. Sincerely, your Hawaii School for the Deaf and the Blind, Ohana.
This is really nice. We always enjoy working with your students, and we always have an amazing time with you. So mahalo nui loa, and we will see you next year.
Well, that's a wrap, but before we go, we need to give you the answer to this podcast trivia question. Coconut Island, also known as Moku'olo'e and home to the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology, was featured in a famous TV show. What is the name of this TV show? And the answer is... Gilligan's Island. The profile of Coconut Island is featured in the opening credits of the show Gilligan's Island. Although the producers of Gilligan's Island originally planned to film the show entirely on Moku'olo'e, it was filmed solely in a studio. Stay tuned for our next podcast, and mahalo for listening.
Aloha.
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 If you like what you hear, follow HBEP Daily through social media. We're on Facebook at Hanauma Bay Education Program, Instagram at Hanauma Education, and Twitter at Hanauma Outreach. We post fun facts about marine life, weekly trivia questions, scientific comics, and updates from Hanauma Bay. This educational podcast featured 3 songs: Thoughts by Chad Smith, Clear Day by bensound.com, and Ukulele by bensound.com. Find it on iTunes and bensound.com.
Sustainable coastal tourism, indigenous cultural heritage, and
water!
Water!
And water resource sustainability!
Cue the toilet.
Flushability.
Oh, so like how no matter how many times we nuke him, Godzilla keeps coming back.
Yep. Godzilla. Definitely about Godzilla.
I had to fit that in.
Certainly, Godzilla is resilient.